Let's dive into the unexpected. Get ready to witness 35 scary moments caught on camera you can't handle. From eerie encounters to close calls, these shocking clips will have you on the edge of your seat. Brace up and prepare yourself for the ride of your life. This man might have been too curious for his own sake. This camper heard something strange near his shelter. Afraid but curious, he opens the door to peek out. It's pitch black outside. He uses a flashlight. He sees nothing, but something is lurking around. The man steps out to investigate his surroundings. He doesn't see anything and checks under his bus. He still sees nothing. He goes out into the woods trying to find what alerted him. He sees a figure in the dark and takes off running. This woman thought it would be a fun experience. Night falls and her opinion changes.
Yeah, we'll get rid of the final wood that I have near here.
This is the woman's first camping experience alone, and she is recording her activities. It's getting late, and she enters her tent to rest. It's late in the night when a strange, strangled sound fills her ears. She wakes hearing the cry. It's distant, but the scream is painful and melancholy.
I'm so tired, but I can't sleep. So many sounds. I guess that was a bunch of kites.
She is too scared to go out. She stays put in her tent, waiting for the sound to stop. These two campers are playing a game, and something else decides to join them.
Oh! What the was that, mother?
These two friends are sitting outside their tent, talking and playing a game. Their lamplight illuminates a few feet around them. The darkness slings to the woods.
Yo, who's out there? What's out there? It ripped my arm off the table. They're gonna knock me over. I'm about to knock somebody's ass out.
The man closest to the camera is getting tired of the game. Suddenly, something invisible hits him. He jumps to his friend's side, scared.
Stand over here. Before my camera runs out of battery. You got sleep on here? I'm starting to think this might not be the greatest idea.
Using a flashlight, they look around them for the apparition. They can't find it. They begin to regret coming to the woods. Some strange eyes watch this woman creepily. Can she face it bravely?
Watching you with binoculars.
Okay, well, that's unnerving.
The young lady is venturing out to camp in the woods alone in her car. She discovers something has been following her. The person is a man who claims the woods are dangerous. He tries to convince her to come with him.
Do you need anything?
No.
Okay.
No.
The man stops talking and eerily gazes at the woman through his sunglasses. This creeps the woman out. She asks why he's looking at her. He prepares to leave. She might be in danger. What's shaking the earth? This camper fears breathing too loud. This camper, while in his tent, hears a rumbling sound. It's quite close to his tent. Breathing shakily, he reduces the brightness of his flashlight and hides it under his body.
I'm not going to get no sleep tonight, I know that much.
He listens for a while to make out the strange rumbling sound. He resolves not to sleep and watch for what happens.
A lot of it is to do with laziness. Once you're here, you're here. It's like a 40-minute drive, 30-40-minute drive for me. and I really can't be arsed sometimes going all the way back home, so...
Still awake, he talks to his camera, trying to calm his fear. He dares not leave his tent. While he is sleeping, danger visits him. The camper never got the shock of his life.
And it sounds like they're walking around the van.
He is sleeping in his van out in the woods. Around 3 a.m., a car pulls up near the van, waking him. Listen closely and you will hear the sound of someone marching around the van. He tries to peek out to see who it is. He sees the car driving away. The footage shows the car parked near his van. The car stays there for a long time with its headlights on.
See that?
He tries leaving his van the next morning, but the door has been locked from the outside. This camper got so rattled he had to do something. For better or worse, it's hard to say.
It's clearly some young kids that came up. I'm getting out of here. I don't like this.
This camper hears a car pull up near his can. It's late in the night, high up in the woods. Whispering, he prepares to leave that location. The man drives away from his location. He has no idea where he is headed. He tries to rationalize what happened, but the fear is clear in his face. When the camper was preparing his meal, something else was preparing itself for him. This is a man living in his van, spending a night in the woods. He's preparing a late-night meal when he hears a creepy knock on his door. He stays silent, fearing he's going to agitate the knocker. The person outside the van walks around it. He brings his gun out and carefully moves things around, not making too loud a sound. He turns off his lights, leaving the red lights on. More creepy sounds echo around him, coming from outside his van. Strange footprints in the snow and something much more sinister in the sky. What will these campers do?
Hashtag off. Oh! What the fuck? What the f was that?
This man and his friend are driving to a pot in the woods they use for camping. The driver doesn't pay attention to the road. When he does, he sees something eerie that scares him.
Where the hell would they even go? I don't want to stick around and find out. No. Let's go. Hold on,
He drives forward and sees footprints in the snow. He thinks it's a human being, but is not sure. He drives quickly from there, but asks his friend to keep recording.
That's a really creepy tree. Can we just talk about that tree? That's a nice tree. It's got some girth to it.
They walk out in the snow and see a creepy doll hanging on a tree. They dare not touch it. In a warehouse, an oppressive presence makes itself known. The footage is creepy. In an abandoned warehouse, the camper tries to sleep in his tent. Something flickers close to his tent. He rises from his bedding, shocked by the sound.
What was that?
The man opens his tent cover to peek outside. The sound has also alarmed other campers. They all have their tent covers open, trying to catch what made the sound.
Sleep as well.
The men can't go back to sleep. They decide to patrol the area. They feel they're being stalked. This camper's solo camping adventure takes a wild turn as he gets a mysterious visitor. done for the day, the camper goes to sleep. Barely a second passes when he hears an ominous wail coming from the woods. The wail has stopped, but this time around, he hears stealthy footsteps stepping on dry, broken twigs close. The sound is close to his tent. A sound like an object stabbing the ground appears again, scaring the man. He turns off his flashlight. The thing is right outside his tent. It's not leaving. What goes on behind you when you aren't looking is strange, as this footage shows.
A good day too. I don't have to really worry about doing 20 miles tomorrow because we did it.
This man has been in the woods for a while, camping out in his hammock. Tonight, he walks around his surroundings, recording himself. The camera is facing him now as he speaks. Something, a ghost, or something creepier runs behind him. He's not aware of this. It happens again with a smaller figure compared to the previous one passing behind him. It's hard to make out the shape of this thing, and it's fast. It seems not only humans use phones. Something sinister might have one in this footage. This man and his friend are in a run-down, unfinished house, recording what they're seeing. But, in a dark corner, they see a phone flashlight on. They turn off their flashlights. The light from the phone is muted and dull, but it's still light. Someone is in the house with them. One of the men considers saying hello. They leave the building quickly to find whoever it is. They find no one, but it creeps them out. They can't stay in their building any longer. The campers came in contact with something or someone, but what is that? These two men are in their van. They are going to sleep. One of them falls asleep faster, but the second friend keeps staring out the window. He can't sleep. Something feels wrong to him. Eventually, they both fall asleep. Then their van shakes, jolting them awake. One of them wants to go out and check, but the other friend is against that. The friend goes out regardless and checks. He goes around the truck and doesn't find the source of the disturbance. The woods let out the strangest sound ever. What's worse, you could never imagine what sound it made. A strange sound, one these campers never expected to hear, starts playing in the middle of the night. The men question their reality. The men keep wondering about the nature of the sound. Trumpets or something else that might take them to heaven. When the sound stops, they make fun of it to comfort themselves. They make a fire and gather around it, hoping whatever jokes they make about the sound are true compared to the truth of what is out there. Don't stay out late in a known haunted woods, or the worst could be after you. He's in a campground known to be haunted and is trying to find his way out. While on the track, he notices movement in the woods and is spooked. The insects make him even more scared. Still, he is heading towards the place where he saw the shrubs rustling. He reaches the place and doesn't see what he thought would be there. He thinks it might have been an animal, or something worse, a ghost. He keeps trying to find his way out, but he feels like something is watching and following him. Something is sharing the woods with the campers. It seems to be too close. The camper tries going to sleep in his tent. He's unable to sleep as his mind wanders. It takes him a while before he closes his eyes to sleep. He hasn't slept deeply. He hears sounds from outside the tent and listens closely. Something heavy slams on his tent, scaring him to sit up. He calls out to his friends in their camps. They don't answer him. He is scared to leave his tent. The sound kept coming. He had to do something. But what? The camper is in his car. He tucks himself into bed to sleep. A while later, he jolts awake. He hears sounds coming from two people. The origin of the sound is not far from him. He watches from his car window as a car drives away from his camping site. He's quite spooked. He goes back to sleep. Yet another creepy sound wakes him up. It's like tiny pellets are falling on his car. He stays still in his car. Sounds fill the woods, then nothing. Could there be something more lurking close to the camper?
I don't know what that sound is.
Earlier he heard strange sounds in the woods. He leaves his tent to investigate. After walking for a while, he hears the sound again. It seems like a yowl of pain. He is intrigued.
Yeah, that's an owl.
He can still see his camp, but he wants to go deeper and see what is making that sound. As he walks towards the sounds begin to come from a farther place.
If anyone knows what the sound is, let me know in the comments. Perhaps a baby bird? A bat?
The sounds stop and the woods fall silent. Something doesn't feel right. It's in the middle of the night and these two friends have just woken up to a nightmare.
You hear that?
These men feel their current campsite isn't safe enough. They begin packing up to leave. One of them walks back to their car. He hears a strange sound. He asks his friend if he heard that. He thinks it's a person who made that sound.
I don't know. Maybe go a little bit faster if you can.
He can't find the person and the woods seem to close in on them. The man tells his friend to be fast. They get to their car and leave the camping site. Something is trying to communicate, but this camper might not be up to it.
Alright guys, I actually heard, which was really weird, but it sounded like there was a disembodied voice. Probably 8 to 9 seconds into that recording. I don't know if my mic picked it up, but I hope we can hear it through here, so.
The camper awoke to some creepy sounds. The device in his hand has picked up the sounds. Curious, he walks into the woods with just his flash to investigate what it is. The device plays a name, Alexander, that whatever in the woods is calling him.
This.
An eerie sound sounds too close to him. He pauses to make sure he heard it right. It sounds out again, then he takes off.
You can see way far down there now. Just need to catch my breath for a minute and then think about this, what just happened. Do you hear that?
He asks whatever thing that is in the woods why it is scaring him. He gets no reply, but is sure something is walking in the woods. He thought he might have escaped. Yet something had other thoughts.
Goddamn dark.
The strangest thing, which he hasn't identified, is chasing him. He runs deeper into the woods while looking up for what is chasing him. It might be hiding up in the dry trees. He looks down, watching his steps as he runs. He is out of breath and has no idea what is chasing. Something, tall, alien, and ghostly white, stands in his path. The footage ends with no word from him. This camper had thought the tales were lies. He came to the cave to try.
Hello? Oi! Oh man.
This camper had set out to find something. It's a cave hidden in a hill. He goes to it. The entrance is eerie. He calls out to anyone in there, but no one replies to him.
Look at my arms, dude. Oh, this is fucked.
It's nighttime and he is now in the cave. He plans to sleep in it. A creepy bird-like sound echoes in the cave. He freaks out when he looks around him in the cave. Something is creeping around.
It will swing the whole entire way, you know what I mean? Like it's gonna swing, but this isn't swinging. This is just moving, rapidly moving and stops. It's the third time it's happened now.
There's a metal ladder people use to climb into the cave. The ladder shakes heavily without making a sound. This camper can't and must not sleep. Something is blazing through the woods.
I don't blame them. Those are my favorite. And yeah, I know. I'm not really supposed to be eating Oreos because I'm a health professional, but you know, that's gonna be you and I's little secret.
A night ago, this lady heard loud, frightening sounds. Tonight, she plans to know what made the sounds. She stays up to maybe catch the figure behind the strange sound.
Still waiting around. Haven't seen or heard anything. It's getting kind of late. Did you see that thing? I wonder if the outside camera got it.
She has stayed up for a long time, and finally, something happens. Her camera captures a humanoid figure, short and blurry, running through the woods.
I don't know what that thing was, but that was insane. I've never seen anything like that creature before. It's just ripping through the woods. It is terrifying, and I need to get out of here right now.
She decides not to stay around the woods anymore so that whatever that is won't come for her. Snow and something much colder lurk close to this camper. This camper sees a burrow under some shrubs. He checks it out. Something scares him and he falls back. Rising, he runs away from there, back to his car. He runs quickly to his car and gets in. Locking himself in, he plans to go lights out. He hopes it's an animal out there, not a human.
I'm gonna go before whatever that was comes back. Oh,
He leaves his car again, and he can hear the thing coming for him again. He runs back into his car. This old man might be daring, but how far will he go for his adventure?
In the morning.
It's late in the night and he can't sleep. While saying something to his camera, he hears strange low growling noises from outside his tent. It's an inhuman sound.
Not sure if the camera picked it up, but God knows what it is. It's quite a weird, guttural sound.
He is quite calm considering the circumstances. He listens closely, and the sound appears again, low and guttural.
But I don't know if you heard that. Not sure if the camera picked it up, but God knows what it is.
He can't leave his tent just yet, so he decides to sleep despite his fear. Something is desperate to enter this family's van. It's weird. Can they escape this?
Circling us. He's like stalking us. It is common for birds to see their own reflections in your window, and they will attack.
This family had been having a fun time at their camping site. Then the weather changed. In the van, they look out their window. A small bird flies off a tree and slams itself on their window. It does this again, scaring them.
I'm looking on Google, and I put, why do birds fly into windows?
It's back. Like he knows.
Why? Well, this is what... Yeah, I know, he's like circling.
The bird slams itself on the window again. Maybe it wants to break it, but why? The family. The bird hops on the tree for a while before flying away. There are lights you should never get near, even this camper.
But if they're coming from the Seven Sisters, that kind of doesn't work, because you would expect it to be really bright up there and with lots of light around. But
the man had heard a strange wailing screech dead in the night. Going out into the woods, he tries to find its location. Strangely, the trees have a monstrous quality to them. On the trees, some strange figures seem to be hanging from their branches. An animal or something taking its shape bolts out of the night and away from the man. He hears something moving in the woods. A few seconds later, a distorted light moves slowly in the darkness. The man will not go near it. This camper thinks he can trust his senses. What happens when they fail him?
I hope I can find my way back to the campsite.
The man walks away from his camp to get wood for fire. On his way, he hears scratchy, creepy laughter from the sky that makes him stop. He isn't sure of what he's looking at anymore.
At all? Why is there a random recliner in the middle of the woods?
He sees an old recliner by a tree with dry leaves in it. It creeps him out. Things are getting weirder around him.
Okay, chill. I'm gonna be snacking on these peppers, you know what I'm saying? They're good.
While cooking, an earth-shattering sound rocks his van. He looks out for what made that sound. He calls out to Annie. The man thought he heard wrong, but when the truth got too close, he could not deny it.
I don't know what that noise is.
The man sits still inside his tent, tense as he hears a sound like a howl and the raging wind around him. The sound of the wind moves his tent covers as the sound creeps closer.
That's absolute gospel. What the hell's that? Making that noise?
The sound is low now, but still as frightening. He listens to the sound as if in a trance.
What the f*** is that? It's like all around.
The sound stops, but now it is footsteps that circle his tent. He holds his breath and turns down the intensity of his light. Something is shuffling around his items outside the tent. Something creeps through the woods. The campers never stood a chance.
That was that tree that you saw him, right? Yeah. I just walked past that tree.
This man sees a humanoid figure in the woods and heads to the place he sees it. He addresses what he saw as a man. He keeps calling for the thing to come out. He promises he won't hurt him. He stops and looks at the woods by his left. A strange figure clings to the tree. The sight disgusts and terrifies the man. He runs as fast as he can as the thing attacks him. He runs, pulling his friend away from the path he went. That thing chases them. The campers had too many questions and few answers. They make a hard choice.
Mate, it's like some wet's just gone on my head.
Could be anything falling out of the trees, bro.
The men have set up their tents, but something strange is running about the woods, unsettling them. One of them sees the thing that he likens to a dog. There is fear in his voice. Hastily, they decamp and move away from the campsite. They don't feel safe around there anymore. They feel like they're still being followed. They decide not to stay in the woods, going back to their car. The footage of this campsite might just change the way you see camping.
Right now, I'm looking.
The man gets to an abandoned campsite and wonders why the campers left all their things there and ran. The place is creeping the man out. He surveys the camp, finding odd things in the tents. It looked like a home for abnormal beings, not humans. Staying around there and exploring, he gets scared to touch the things there for too long. This camper kept being on her toes in the woods, but will that be enough?
That's a bird. That's a gunshot.
This woman, while in the woods, starts hearing dozens of different sounds that she tries to differentiate. Yet, a sound in particular, a sound like the wailing of children, astonishes her. She had thought the sounds were not harmful to her as they were quite far away. Suddenly, a strangled sound echoes around her campsite. She goes to bed to rest, but strangely sounds of far-off creatures fill the air ominously. Never in their lives did these campers think they'd face such a nightmare in the woods. Could their eyes be deceiving them? This guy is camping on a hillside in the woods. When he lies on his bed in his van for rest, he sees strange lights coming from a distance through his window. He dismisses what he saw. A few hours later, a fellow camper calls him out of his van. The lights have multiplied and are slowly creeping to the campsite. The lights stop. They are cars with their headlights on. The campers are being stalked.